So I'm just going to run you through starting to make a website on Wix. Wix is really useful because it kind of works with the drag and drop elements. You don't have to use any coding. You don't have to know how to make a website. All you do is you can just choose a theme, start off with a theme, and then you can add your own images in. You can add videos. You can customize it to kind of any extent. You can change the colors. You can change the font. Just get started with a basic template and you work from there. So I'm just going to make a new account. So I'm just going to click sign up and let's try and copy and paste that one. Cool. So what it's going to do is it's going to ask you a few questions. So it's going to try and find out what your skill level is. I'm going to start from kind of pretending that I don't know anything about Wix. So I'm going to create a site for myself and I want it to be a photography site. And I've never done this before. So it gives you lots and lots of templates. So for example, this one's a family photographer one, this one's a wedding one, sports. But you don't necessarily have to be kind of a family photographer to use this template. You don't have to be a wedding photographer to use this one. Just kind of look and see what kind of elements it has that you like. For example, you might want a minimal website. So this one might work quite well. You might want a black kind of background. You might like the squares, so it kind of looks like an Instagram format. You might like the large picture here, but kind of just spend a few minutes looking through templates and kind of think about what you want. So this one's a fashion portfolio, but obviously you don't have to use that if you're a fashion photographer. You can use any of the templates and customize it to what you want. I'm going to use, let's have a look, what one? Let's go for this one. So what you can do is if you want to view the website in real time, just click view. So this allows you to kind of click on different parts. So this one is a wedding and events photography website. It's quite minimal. It's all kind of in one row, all the photos. Yeah, it's quite nice, but I'm going to go back and choose another one. So I'm just going to work with the fashion portfolio. So I'm going to click edit and just give it kind of a few seconds to load. It's just building in, kind of bringing in every element. So Wix is really great for offering video tutorials.
Welcome to the Wix editor. Let's do a quick walkthrough before you...
Is just literally watch this and it will give you a breakdown of all that I'm going to say.
So move things around to create...
So let's close out of that. So yeah, Wix is really easy to use. It's made to kind of create professional websites on a budget. It's free to use, but if you want to connect a domain, so for instance, my website is www.katyblench.co.uk, and for that I pay about £10 a year for the domain. The only thing is with Wix, if you want to add a domain, you have to upgrade and you have to pay kind of a monthly fee. I think at the minute it's about £4, but Wix are quite good in that they offer lots of like 50% off, so you never have to pay kind of the full amount. So I think it's normally about £10 a month, but at the minute it's down to £3 a month. So just kind of consider that when you're budgeting for your business or for your photography. I know when I graduated, it was really important to have a website. So getting it set up at the end of first year is really kind of helpful. Really kind of puts you in a good place to be in, especially putting your images on a website can make it feel a little bit different, make you feel kind of more professional than if you just have it on your university blog. You can actually send clients and prospective clients a link to a website with a domain. I think it does look quite professional. So I'm just going to talk you through it here. So if you click on page, this is where you can scroll through your pages. The only thing is you might find a bit kind of troublesome to begin with is you can't click the links here. If you try and click on home, it doesn't go on home. So you have to navigate through your pages here. Or here. So just bear that in mind. If you started to kind of click around and it's not really working, just remember you don't really click anything on here to kind of navigate. It's all through here, and this is where you can manage them as well. So it's quite handy. And what Wix does really well is you can work. At the minute I'm on the desktop mode, so I'm editing my site for a desktop. But what you can do is switch to mobile. So this is going to edit your site so it's optimized for a mobile. And think about how many websites you visit on your phone, you know, how many links you click on Instagram, how important it is to have a website that looks quite good on a phone. So if you're sending it to a client and they're on the go, you want your website to look as good as your desktop one. So what I would recommend is spending some time in this mobile kind of editor, but maybe not until the end, maybe not until you've finished working on your desktop. It can be a bit confusing to go from mobile to desktop. So maybe focus on your desktop website first and then switch to mobile when you're ready to kind of publish it. So under site, there's a few options. What you need to do initially is press save because it's going to turn on the autosave. There's nothing worse than kind of spending a few hours on something and then losing it, or if your internet crashes or if Wix crashes. So just ensure that you've got that on. And preview is kind of your live version of your website. So this is where you can now start clicking these options here. And then to get back to the editor, you just click back to editor. Get feedback. I've never really used that before. I'm not really sure how well it works, but feel free to look at it when you finish your website. Publish. When you click that, your website goes live, so it goes completely live. So if someone has the link, or potentially if they Google your name or whatever you've called it up here, they could see your website. So just be aware of that. If you're not really happy with your website, maybe don't publish it until you are kind of quite sure about it. And what is quite handy as well with Wix is there's a site history, so you can go back and look at previous versions of your site. So say that you change it drastically, you can just kind of go back here and it shows you the versions that you've made previously, and you can restore it from that. You can also duplicate your site, transfer it to someone else, or move it to the trash. I don't know why you want to do that, but it's handy to have another copy of your site. So potentially if you're kind of really happy with it, you could duplicate it. So just it's kind of just it's like making another copy of your photograph. It's just having another backup just in case something happens to your original. So under settings, this is where you connect the domain. You can find domains for the first year. They can be as low as £1. I think GoDaddy is offering that at the minute, and there's a website called 123reg. I think they offer quite cheap domains. They always kind of try and hook you in with cheap prices at the beginning, so they want to secure your business over kind of years and years, so they give you a lower price for the first year, and then I pay about £10 a year for mine. It's definitely worth looking into, or even kind of budgeting for the future. I just think it makes you look more professional if you've got kind of your first name, last name.co.uk or photography after it. Just kind of puts you up another level. And like I said, you have to upgrade your Wix website. So if I click on that, it should tell you the current prices. So the other day I looked and it was £4, so it's gone up, which is interesting. But they do often do kind of 50% off. When I looked at it yesterday, it was this was £4 a month. So if you can't afford it now, kind of look back. But Wix is one of the cheaper kind of website builders that I've found, and you do get 14 days of money back if you're not happy with it, which is always handy. So let's click leave. So let's see what else is here. I wouldn't worry too much about these things now. I mean, I would look into kind of tracking and analytics. This is quite handy because you can find out where your visitors on your site have come from. So for instance, if you have your link on your Instagram bio, you can kind of see who is coming from there and potentially where in the world they're coming from. So maybe start looking into tracking and analytics, and also kind of putting keywords on your website. So that's called SEO. So if you're looking at setting your first website up now, you'll be looking at kind of doing SEO. It's basically where you add keywords into your website. So if someone's looking for a photographer in Rochester, you would kind of almost code that into the website. So just bear that in mind. I wouldn't worry too much about it now. But yeah, these are things that I'd leave to kind of later on. So tools is very similar to what it kind of does in InDesign. So you can turn your toolbar on and off, layers on and off, rulers on and off, grid lines. Yeah, so just work with that. Different people will feel different ways about having toolbar on. A lot of people kind of prefer space when they're working, so they can see the whole kind of image. Other people might like the rulers, so they can line things up nicely. It's up to you. Dev mode. So dev mode is where you begin with working with code. I wouldn't worry too much about it at the minute unless you are experienced with coding or know someone that is, or if you're interested in kind of starting. I won't worry too much about that. Wix offers really helpful help options. So for instance, if you're having issues connecting your domain, you can just look up domain and it walks you through. It's really, really nice. You don't have to go onto Google or YouTube or look anything up. It's all there for you. So if you're having issues, it's all kind of in this. You don't have to click off. It's quite handy. Keyboard shortcuts. I don't really use them. I've read that it's quite useful if you're making a big website to kind of use it as if you would use keyboard shortcuts on Photoshop or InDesign, that kind of thing. Step-by-step videos. Yeah, Wix offer really, really handy videos to make things and do things. So if you're having trouble, you can just watch a tutorial.
Use an image that is 16.
So yeah, that's just handy to have. And what else is there? So yeah, it's just got connect your domain and SEO. So yeah, they're quite useful things to read. Upgrade. So that's if you don't want the basic version of Wix. I also think that Wix, I think it has adverts. So if someone's viewing your website, it potentially has adverts at the top and bottom, and also your URL is going to be something like katieblench.wix.com. So if you don't want that, upgrade, but obviously it's only if you can afford it. Yeah, don't worry about that too much. That's just zooming out. But what it also does is it offers an undo option. So if you make a kind of change, you want to undo it quickly, just do it there. That's your autosave. That's where you can preview it, so what it looks like live, and that's where you publish it. On the left is where you kind of get into the tools that you would use to make and personalize your website. So we've gone through this one a little bit. So this is where you navigate through your pages. But what you also can do with it is rename the page. So if you want to rename it, and it shows up instantly, which is quite handy. You don't have to kind of press something or wait for it to load. And you can also copy a page. Say you really like this page, you can just press copy. Or you can duplicate the page. Or you can hide the page. Or you can even delete the page. So yeah, it's really, really easy to use. And yeah. So this one is page transition. So this is how the objects kind of come onto the page. So kind of where it comes from, kind of like on PowerPoint. So again, that's up to you to use that how you kind of wish. Background, it does what it says on the tin, changes the background. Let me just change to the contact page. These pictures have taken up most of the background, so you can't really see it too well. So let me just change the colour. What's nice is, again, it changes instantly. So you can instantly see without having to press save, without having to kind of wait too long. And what you can also do here is change your site colours. So if you want to change your colour palette for your whole site, it's quite nice. It keeps it kind of stylised. It's quite a handy thing to look at. You can also put an image as your background or a video. I don't know how well that would look. I would kind of maybe keep it quite plain and put the images on the page. And then there's selected backgrounds here. And you can also apply it to other pages. So say you've got 10, 15 pages, you don't have to do it all manually if you want to change your colour scheme. And this is where you can add things. So for instance, if I wanted to add another header, click it and then just change the writing. So yeah, it's just really, really easy. It's really nice to use as well. I think. Yeah, it's drag and drop. So just a question, just a word of warning. I think that if you put things, yeah, there you go. So if you put things out here, your visitors won't see it. So make sure you put it within this part here, and don't try and put it too high at the top, because this is the header. So like on a kind of Microsoft Word document, header, it will be in there constantly, and footer will also be in there. So don't put anything in there you don't want to be seen on every page. So I'm just going to delete these. And this is where you can add your images. So I've uploaded a few images here. Let's have a look. Let's just add a few of these. I think that you should also kind of look into image quality for websites. In the handbook, I've put what Wix kind of suggests for the size of images, because remember, you don't want to put your highest quality images on your website. Potentially someone could steal them, use them for their own website. You just kind of want to have the best quality, but not the best quality. So you want the best quality images that you have, but also you don't want them to be taking up a lot of time either. So you don't want someone to go into your website and for it to take ages to load, because they'll click off. So you can add images really, really easily. I've just clicked add there, and yeah, resize it really easily, really, really kind of smoothly. And this is where you can change bits and bobs. So what happens if you click it? What's in the image? Tell Google. That's quite handy. So that's working with your SEO. So I could put, so this was a shoot for Atelier. So I could put Atelier, I could put UCA, and you can change the design. So put a frame around it, move the image, crop it into a shape. Filter, if you want some filters, probably advise against that. What else? The way it kind of comes in off the page. Link, if you want to link it to another page, and if you need any help. So I'm just going to delete this. So yeah, it's really, really simple to change. Like I said, Wix works with templates, so I would put here my own information. So yeah, it's just nice. It's just nice that you're able to click into and to do it. Some kind of website builders make it really, really hard to change things, which is kind of counterintuitive. It doesn't really help, but you can add stock images. I'd probably not recommend that. Recommend using your own images if you're on a photography website. You know, false advertising and all that. You can also add galleries. I'm just going to make a new page to show you galleries. So I'm just going to rename it Fashion Atelier, press done, and then I'm going to add gallery, and I found a really nice kind of thin one here. Where is it? I keep scrolling way too fast. Oh, there we go. So because I've got kind of very similar images, what I'm going to do is, so it kind of fills your gallery with preset images. So what I'm going to do is press select all and then delete these, and then I'm just going to add my images I want to on here, and then click add to page. So I've just selected them all, added them to the page, and I'm going to press done. So it's quite nice because these are very similar images. They're all from one lookbook shoot. I don't really need them to all be kind of quite large. They've all got the similar vibe, so I don't necessarily need them kind of filling up loads and loads of space. You can change there, kind of sizing, placement, and again, kind of the settings that you want, the layout, you can change it. So yeah, it's just good to get started, and if this is your first website, just kind of put your images on your computer, kind of organise them first, and then try to put them on your website and see how you want them. But I recommend looking at other photographers' websites, maybe kind kind of photographers that you admire or whose style is quite similar to yours is always handy. I like looking at people's contact pages and kind of what they say. That's quite interesting. So you can also add vector art. So if you want some illustrations that kind of match your style, these are quite sweet. But again, kind of consider your style and what you're trying to say about your work, so your photography. What else can we add? These are quite nice, these strips. They just look quite stylized and quite nice. I think I started when I was making my own website a few years ago. I tried to kind of make it from scratch and it was quite hard. So it's nice to see these things where they look good and you don't have to put kind of too much effort in. You can change everything here. So that's quite nice. And you can add videos. So you can either do it via a video uploading from your own computer, or you can do it from YouTube, Vimeo, and then there's lots of different kind of layouts here. What's also nice is you can just click on the item and press the backspace. So again, it's just quite easy to use Wix. So yeah, you can test out different things as well. You can drag and drop and see kind of what looks best on your website. And you can add social media tools, Facebook integration, lots of things, and also a contact form. So if your template doesn't come with a contact form, you can just click it, and then this is where you kind of get into the settings. So you can get emailed. If someone wants to contact you, you just get an email, so you don't have to go onto your Wix website, you get an email kind of straight away. But that's always a useful thing to have. The next one here is the Wix App Market. You can add lots of different things, such as an Instagram feed. You can add a store to sell your prints or digital art from your website, add a slideshow, add a testimonial section. There's lots of different kind of things you can add. It's interesting if you look down the must-have apps, they offer different things like a Wix chat, Wix events. You know, if it's relevant to your website, definitely have a look into it and look at how other people use their Wix websites. And this one here is for your kind of media. You can see here the images that I've uploaded, and it links you to other things, like if you've got your images on Facebook or Instagram, Google Drive, Google Photos. You can also have a look through stock images, say you don't have an image you need. I'd kind of use that sparingly though, as you are photographers. And then here is a blog section. You can add a blog. I haven't worked with this, but if you wanted something that's integrated to Wix, I think it's quite good.